Welcome to my channel. This is the RPA champion, and in today's video we are going to see how we connect REST APIs to a Power Automate flow. This is going to be super exciting and super fun. Why? Because REST APIs can add a lot of functionalities to our Power Automate flows. What do I mean by a lot of functionality? So in today's video, we are going to learn how to create a REST API call. Before we do that and before we connect it and create it from scratch, let's just see what it looks like and why REST API calls are so useful. So this is a flow that I created previously. Let's just peek inside and see what it looks like. So we have a manually triggered flow, meaning when I click a button in Power Automate or on another service, I make a HTTP request, meaning that I connect to a link via GET. I download the information via JSON. I parse this JSON in a suitable format. Then we take this information and we put it inside a Google Sheet. After that, we run a condition on the information that we extracted, and we do something according. This is kind of the logic flow. I wanted for you to see it before we get down actually and we start creating and doing it for ourselves. So before connecting a REST API, it is usually good practice to choose an API that you want to connect. So in this example, we are going to be connecting to a finance API. And what we are going to be doing more exactly is we're going to be connecting to our finance API, and we're going to be checking the stock for IBM. We're going to be checking the opening stock and then the closing stock for the trading day. And the closing stock is higher than the opening stock. That means that the stock has gained in that day, and we would want our flow to behave certainly if we have gained in our stock or if we have lost in our stock. So without further ado, let's get started and let's start from the beginning. So we are going to create an automatically triggered flow. So let's call it stock. Stock checker. This is going to be a manually triggered flow. Let's create it. And now the first step that we need to do is we need to add a HTTP request. So we need to get a HTTP request, and this request is going to be made via GET. So I have chosen Alpha Advantage as my API for the stock. It has great documentation. It is free to use. There is different. They have different for different kind of information that you want to see. I highly recommend it if you are interested in financial data. So I have already found a link. So this is the link that we're going to be using. So it's a time series daily, and it's for IBM. And what does it look like? So it tells me the symbol, it tells me the last date that it was refreshed, and it also tells me the day intervals. So what I would like to do is take the opening and the closing of the last day, understand the difference, and if the closing is higher than the opening, send an email maybe that says you have gained some money on your stock. So perfect. All right, let's get back into it. Let's get the link that we want to connect to. So we can also find this is the links. This is a JSON output link. This is the right kind of link that we need. We're going to paste it here. We don't need this any headers information or body. All right, so let's save this and test it and see what happens. All right, so once triggered, we see that PowerFlow went to this output and it captured something. It it returned a response. This response is not making a lot of sense because we have to work with it and transform it for our purposes. So let's add a new step. Let's add a not a data operation, let's add a JSON. I apologize about that, a few spelling mistakes. Parse the JSON. So here we are going to put the body, and we're going to generate the schema from this schema that we have right here. So we're just going to copy and paste everything, and we are going to save our information. Now, what is the next thing that we have to do? The next thing that we wanted to do is maybe add this information and put it in a readable format, maybe in an Excel sheet. So let's create an Excel sheet. So in my case, I will not be creating an Excel sheet. I will be creating a Google Shared Drive sheet or a Google Sheets. So just 1 second while I here we go. We're going to create a new sheet. We're going to call it IBM stock. We will have the symbol, open, close, and that's pretty much it for right now. We don't need there is a lot of more detail that we can add, but for the purposes of this example, let's just keep it simple. Save. Let's add one more step. The other step that we're going to add is Google Sheets. So let's look for Sheets, Google Sheets, and I would just like to highlight to you guys how simple all of this has been so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a new row inside of our file that we have just created in PowerAutomate, and let's choose the IBM stock file. So worksheet, sheet 1. Now if I all right, PowerAutomate has automatically identified the different columns that we have. Now, just keep in mind, if you're using Excel, you should create a table inside of Excel so that PowerAutomate can automatically identify the headers of the different columns. So let's put the symbol in here, and let's take the open, and let's take the close. This is perfect. I think we should have required one more field, which could have been the date, but let's just test this and see if it's working. So our script has failed. Let's see what is the reason of this. Okay, let's change our JSON file. Something is wrong with it. Let's try to format it one more time. This should work. Let's test it again. Our process has failed. Very well. Now, why is this not working? This should be correct. The request. Oh, all right. We have wrong link here. So let's edit this on the fly. I have no idea how that link got there, but this should fix our problem. So now let's test our flow one more time, and our flow is running. It has completed successfully. It has parsed the JSON, and it's telling us that it has successfully inserted everything inside of our Google Sheets. So let's go back, IBM open and IBM close. That is perfect. It has dynamically via API collected the stock price, and it has put it on this Google Sheet. Now, just for fun, let's do one last thing. Let's add a condition that is going to check if the opening price is greater than is lower than the closing price. That means it's going to tell us what happened with that stock. So a control condition, and this is just going to be a really easy example to show you guys how to add a condition in a really simple way and in a very dynamic way. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the data from. So here in the parse JSON, we're going to look for the first values of open and close. So we have the open. So if open is greater or if open is, let's do it this way, if open is less than closing value, so what this basically means, if when the stock opens, if it's less than what it closed, then it means it has gained. So we are going to send an email saying that our stock has gained. So send an email. Let's just send it to myself, for example, and let's add something dynamic. Let's add the stock ticker, if I can get to it. And inside the body, let's add one. Is this correct? So when it opens is less than close. So that means when it's closed, it's higher. We want stock gained. And on this side, let's add another condition. It's going to be the same condition. And inside of this condition, no, apologize. We are going to add a an email option. And we're going to send it again the same information. Just keep in mind you can also copy and paste different parameters like I have just done. Lost, and on this one, lost your stock lost. All right, are we ready to test this? So let's see how the IBM stock has behaved today. Manually, we're going to test this. So what should happen? Let's walk through this one more time. It should, we triggered the API call, we connected to the HTTP via GET, and we pulled down all of the information in a JSON format. Now we parse this JSON so that we can access this information that we have downloaded via our API call, and then we have stored what we have selected to choose inside an Excel on Google Sheet. And after that, we have also created a condition that checks if the stock is higher or if it's lower based on how the stock has behaved during the day. It sends us an email. So if I go back to my panel for my flow, I can see it has executed successfully. If I go inside of my Excel, I see a new row has been added correctly. And if I go into the email, I should have received an email. And here is the email. Your stock lost. So this is pretty much everything that we cover in today's video. Uh, just to recap once again, in today's video, you've learned how to connect to a REST API via PowerAutomate. This is going to open you to a whole world of possibilities and different flows that you can create. I really hope you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, so that you can get some more interesting and entertaining content like this. And please give me a thumbs up so that I can become a millionaire one day. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you in the next video.